Okay. All right. Let's go. Do we have a live stream? Are we good? Are we good? Are we live? Hey Alex, thank you as always for jumping in. We are live. Cool. We can hear me? You can hear me? Let's close the drawer. Ugh. Cool. We can hear me and we can see me. That's always good. The two key elements of a live stream, I guess. Audio sounds good. Nice. Okay, so I'm kind of a little bit prepared, also not prepared, as usual with live streams. But ooh, here's my first failure. 2 seconds. There we go. Woo, hello, I'm back. Oh, I was like, what the hell is that bright light? There's I've got like an overhead camera because we're going to be doing some project stuff, and the flash was on, so there was like death from above. But yeah. Hey, Nicholas. Tim. We're good. Hey, Dave. Hey, Stefan. All right. So, as I was saying before I was interrupted by my light, we have a bit of a plan today. I've tried to prepare a little bit, but also everything's a bit last minute, like it always is. So we've got a project which I just released a video about, the NSPanel Manager. So I'm going to be running through that live to see how it goes. I mean, it's live, so it could go well, it could not go so well, but we'll see. And I've got both of the developers that are working on that. They're going to be joining in the stream. So if you haven't watched that video, then don't worry, because we're going to run through the project. It's an awesome project if you're an NSPanel user. So we'll go through that live, run through those things, and just see how it goes in general. But yeah, there's the video in the I don't know what side it's on for you, but it's over there for me. But yeah, thanks Alex. On the links as always. But how is everybody? How are you guys? Where are you guys all from? Audio sounds good. I think I already read that, but yeah, it's double good. Alex, you've hurt your back. Was that ripping that tree out? I don't think I've done a stream since Christmas. Or maybe I have. I don't know. My 12 streams of Christmas that didn't go to 12. They were like 7 or something. But hey ho. New Zealand, the Netherlands, Washington, Denmark. Cool. How many people are watching NSPanel users? Do you guys use NSPanels? Or are you thinking of getting one? Is this gonna persuade you to join that NSPanel crew? South Africa. Nice. Portugal. Cool. I guess we should probably test if my web stuff is working. That's probably the best thing to try first, I guess. It's also like it's dropped down. Is this the right way? No, it's not the right way. Oops. Or maybe it is the right way for you. Is it? I don't know. What does the stream look like? Yeah, I think it's back to front, but it's 28 degrees in here, so it's pretty hot. I've got the fan on. Can you hear the fan? I'm not sure if you can. Hopefully the noise suppression's pulling it out. 85 degrees. Yeah, but it's very hot here in the UK. I mean, 28. Like I know there's countries where it's like mega hot, but yeah, 28 is hot in the UK, especially when you're not used to David Langley, a little place called Wales. I also live in Wales. Hey. Right. Okay. Let's see if the microphone carries on. So up first, as a kind of first for one of these streams for this year. I don't know. Is this the first stream of the year? I really don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. The look of realization. Is it just that one page where I have no audio? Do we have audio here? It's just not in the other. Is that right? Did I like have no audio for the whole thing? God damn it! I told you it was going to be janky. Do we have sound now? Ah, we have sound. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. So, yeah. Damn it. I told you it was going to be janky. I think maybe the sound just isn't on any of those things, which is great that I found out now before I pulled the guests in. How do we do this? It's been a while since I did this. Like, I think I just go in here. Also, you can't see my screen because I'm not sharing it because I have no sound when I share it at the minute. But don't worry, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. So it's an audio input capture device, and it's that one. I want to say add, and then is that right? If we transition, can we hear me still with the other stuff? Did I fix it? Hey, I did it. Right. Plus 10 points. Now I just need to resize this thing and press this button. It works. Cool. Okay. I mean, it is always nice when things work. It works this time. So, before I cut myself off, what I was trying to say was today's stream is sponsored by Minisforum. These guys are currently running a 3rd year anniversary sale, and if you've never seen or heard of them before, they're a manufacturer of a whole bunch of computers. Mainly they specialize in like Intel NUC kind of clones. There's Intel chips in them. They also do a whole range of AMD. But the one that I was trying to tell you about is this NUC Xi7, which is one that I personally use. I have this as my PC under the front room, and I use it for gaming, streaming, watching TV, doing all of those things. But yeah, thank you to those guys for sponsoring today's video, and maybe towards the end of the stream I might actually show you one of these PCs, because yeah, if you're after a kind of a NUC or a mini PC, then check these guys out. They make a bunch of really cool hardware, and the sale is currently on for the 3 years, so if you're interested, check them out. Now I need to remember how to get back to where I came from. There it is. Okay. I don't know if you heard me say, how many people are watching are NSPanel users? Do you guys make use of NSPanels? Maybe I said that before it cut out, and maybe I didn't. But yeah. Okay, so the NSPanel manager, that's what we're streaming about. this might be janky as well now, by the way, when I get the guys in, because it just might be. Yeah, also all of the links for everything that I'm going to be looking at, the NS panels, the bits that I'm going to be playing with on the desk, the Minisforum stuff, if you're interested in that, all of those should already be in the description. I think I was prepared today, so yeah. I think then I'm going to give you a quick kind of little run through of what the NS Panel Manager is, in case you haven't yet seen my little video. And I will try and do it now. I think do I have a way of doing this full screen? Maybe. Is it this one? Is it just that one page that doesn't have sound? I don't understand. It is just that one page that doesn't have sound, for sure. Should we just not use that page? Maybe that page is like cursed. I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't work. I don't know. You can hear me on this. It's just that one page. So let's just not use that page. I tell you what I could probably do instead is I could probably do this, because this is all that the page did basically, is it just made this this kind of web page a bit bigger, kind of like that. That was basically all the other page did. Kind of, yeah. Okay, we'll just not use that view, but hopefully when I add Eric and Tim in, hopefully, yeah. Oh yeah, you can't see it when I'm adjusting until I click the transition button, I don't think. But I'm also going to open up my own stream and watch myself so that when things break, I kind of know. Happy live stream. I blame the heat. Look, it's gone up to, oh, it's back to front, but it's gone up to 29 degrees now. I can hear myself, but because I was listening through the audio that goes into the mic, obviously I can hear it, and I wasn't listening to the stream audio. So one day I might actually do a stream that works like flawlessly. I'm using OBS Studio. No, I'm not. I'm using Streamlabs. I lied. I'm using Streamlabs to do all of this. So if there's a better tool, then tell me. So I'll try again. NS Panel Manager, it's a community project, and it's being created by two guys at the moment, Eric and Tim. And the kind of the idea, the core concept of it is basically to let you flash your panels with a nice UI, and the way that you control them and update them and manage them is all done through a web UI, and it just works really well. They sent it to me a few days back, and after testing it out and playing with it, like, yeah, I personally think it works amazing, even in its early state. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes, how it develops, and what changes with it, really. So yeah, for me personally, I think it's wicked. Out of all of the projects that I've tested out and tried, this one seems to be the one that's, I don't know, it's not that the other ones aren't well thought out, but this one, I can see it just being around for a lot longer. Previously I covered the NS Panel HomeAssistant blueprint. And that one is a really cool project. You can customize the UI, you can customize pretty much everything, but there's a lot of things on there that you might not use, and it kind of clutters it up a little bit. But I was previously using that one, and I have been using that, but the problem that I've got with that is when there's an update, it breaks, and there's an issue with it still, where if you remove an entity or you delete it or it changes its name or anything like that, then the panel won't boot, and it can be quite frustrating, and it can happen a lot, especially if you are somebody that messes around with your Home Assistant setup quite a lot, like me. But yeah, so let's try and get the guys in, and we'll speak to them a little bit, and then I guess I'll try and run through it live. I think the only problem will be my audio, maybe, but yeah, let's find out. Oh, sorry, Tim, as well. I did just see that you messaged me on Discord to say that I have no sound. Okay, let's give this a go. Hope the guys backstage, you ready? Dum da dum da dum. Tim? Did I lose Tim? Tim? Hello. Eric?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. I don't know if the YouTube's is working. Okay. So when the audio works, if it works, I'll hopefully get you to introduce yourself. So can we still hear me? Alex, do we have sound? Do we have sound, and am I loud enough? Okay, cool. Okay, we have sound. Yep. Okay, can we hear Eric? Hello, Eric.
Hello, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Cool.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're cool under pressure. That's how it's how diamonds are made, under extreme pressure. Okay, so we got Eric. Do we have Tim? Say hey, Tim. I don't hear Tim at all. Okay. I don't think I have you on the stream. Okay, let's try and fix it. Let's fix it live. So we've got Eric. This is Eric, everybody.
Hello, I didn't realize I was on video.
Oh.
Probably did weird moves. Sorry about that. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I'll try and get Tim, and then I'll let you do like a little intro. Add a source. Voice. There we go. Is that it? Tim? Are you there, Tim? Can we hear Tim, guys? Can we hear Tim? Oh. No Tim. We have no Tim.
It's just no.
Settings. Properties. Okay, I feel like I've got it now. Maybe. No, I don't got it. If I change the device, maybe.
Mhm.
Oh man. Right. So, if anybody is a Wavelink user, I'm trying to add Discord through Wavelink. Anybody? Open volume mixer. So I told you guys that it would be janky. You had fair warning. The output device is set to voice chat. And any Tim? No, so Tim also isn't joining my video, by the way. So Tim is just going to be a voice in the background if I could manage to get him in. Do you need to set output device in Discord? Ah, potentially, maybe. I mean, that could be it. I was trying to set it through Wavelink. La 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 la. Voice and video. Ah, okay. I think you're onto it, Alex. That's probably it. So if I do that, output device is Wavelink chat. Then voice chat is, where's voice chat? Oh, I still don't see it in the thing though. Can you give us some audio, Tim? Oh no, maybe Tim is giving audio now and I can hear. Yeah, sing a song. Add a chat channel in Wavelink. Probably not. Oh man.
I'm just thinking, could he join the Streamlabs thing, although he doesn't have a camera, or just like
No,
me?
it won't work. Oh yeah, sorry guys. So for everybody watching these technical difficulties, I've got the developers here. I've got Eric, who's here in video, and I've got Tim, who is currently here in my ear, but you guys can't hear him. So I was trying to like pass through the Discord audio, but I just couldn't get it to work for whatever reason. So I've got Discord set to output to Wavelink and as Wavelink voice chat, which should be right. But then I can't hear it on the output as the stream. Yeah, unless it's something like it's because I've set it after, after the stream started, and maybe it won't pick the device up. Maybe. I feel like that's maybe why I can't see it. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah. I'm sorry, Tim. I messed it up. Can I pass another audio channel in, like the desktop or something, and then have it spit out to the desktop? Maybe. I don't think you'll be able to join in that video thing either, to be honest. Okay, you set the routing all up. So I think because I've tried to add this after I've made the change to the settings in Discord and stuff after I've started the stream, and then I think Streamlabs isn't seeing the new audio. I think desktop audio device. Can I do it like this instead? Okay. If this one doesn't work now, then I'm kind of out of ideas. Can I get some audio from you, Tim? Tim, are you there? Is it possible to route the audio through Eric?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that as well, but
Sure can. Yeah, I'm here.
Ooh.
you hear Tim now?
Can we hear Tim now? Did I do it?
Oh, they can hear Tim.
They can hear Tim, but Tim's not talking.
Oh, I think I heard myself through the YouTube stream. But it's a horrendous delay. And I hear myself.
Okay, so it works. Okay, it's working. Is it working? I mean, it's delayed. Is it delayed for you, Tim, or is it delayed for that? Yeah. Do you need the volumes pumping
I
up?
think I'm much louder than everybody else on the stream, so you might want to drag my volume down.
Yeah, we can. I think I can do volume adjustment. Like,
I think you need to drag me down, actually, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm just thinking. Have you muted Eric on Discord?
yeah. If I unmute Eric though, then because Eric's on video, Eric's video might be delayed with his talking through Discord. Then is that okay? Do we have levels now? I'm really sorry, Tim, but it's probably going to be a bit like delayed and out of sync for you. Okay,
Yeah.
Are we good? Are we like we're half an hour in and we're?
Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe Eric can.
Can I still hear you, Eric? You're deep in
Hello?
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Cool.
But it sounds like, I mean, Tim, you're answering pretty straight after the questions. Is it, or am I?
I mean, I can mute you in Discord. Oh no, I can't mute you in Discord. I could mute myself in Discord, and then you'll hear me through the stream, and then your answer will come through. So the video will be delayed for you, but the. Oh wait, where's Discord gone? It was going so well. Is that better for you if I do that, Tim? If I mute you in Discord? Everybody count together. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
Does that work for you?
Well, I'll manage anyway.
Are you just gonna have to like
have
get
to
through
bear
it?
my own voice, I guess.
Okay. I'm sorry, Tim. Next time we'll get it right. I'm sorry, everybody. We're back. I think we've got everybody now, but the NSPanel manager is these guys that are doing it. So we've got Eric here, and we've got Tim who is joining just by voice. So do you want to kind of introduce yourself, Eric?
Yeah, sure. I'm Eric. I call myself Cables and Coffee. I do some YouTube stuff. I love home automation. I'm an OpenHAB user, actually. I'm not a HomeAssistant user. So that's my biggest hobby. And I've been working with this NSPanel thing since it came out. It's been my, yeah, put a lot of time into that. So yeah, that's me.
And are you there, Tim? Can you intro you? There might be a delay as well with Tim actually speaking to us. Oh, Tim has actually messaged me saying he's having problems with YouTube stuttering.
I am here. I'll be. Yeah, might be a delay. I've been doing this NSPanel project now for a couple of months, and I love home automation. Been doing programming for nearly 20 years now. So yeah, it's been a fun project, and I look forward to see where it goes.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm
Using HomeAssistant, by the way.
Yeah. So Eric is an OpenHAB user. For some reason. Yeah. So Eric's
a long time ago.
yeah. Eric's big on OpenHAB, and Tim is HomeAssistant. So there's like what's nice about that is there's a good kind of cross with the whole development as well. So, things are being made not just for HomeAssistant and not just for OpenHAB. So that's nice. So yeah, do you wanna go into like what's happening with the whole project? Like your kind of roadmap or anything like that, Eric? Oh man. Have we lost audio? This is going about as well as
I think we lost Eric.
Are you
At least
muted,
I
Eric?
can't hear him.
Oh man. No Tim. No, I can hear Tim, but I can't hear Eric's audio. Eric? Oh man. I don't know what's happened to your audio. It's like we can't have everybody all in the same room. Yeah.
I saw your webcam go blank, Eric, and then your sound disappeared when you got back.
Are you able to like refresh or leave and rejoin, Eric? Now it's dark. We've gone dark. Thank you all for tuning in. Eric's back, but we got the no sounds. No sounds. I can probably pull your audio just through Discord, Eric. Maybe. Mike, to answer your question, the NSPanel Manager does not run on the Android version. So the NSPanel Pro, it's separate totally. The original NSPanel is based on an ESP. So it's got a little ESP chip in there, whereas the Android one doesn't. We can see your video on the stream, Eric. Just not your audio. For some reason. But yeah, now it's just me again. Right. While now is it just me? It's just me. Tim, are you still here? And now I'm echoing. Oh man. Is it? Am I just echoing?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Do I still have echo?
Maybe you can unmute Eric on Discord, and he should be able to join voice.
I unmuted Discord now.
Okay, now I have an echo. Do we still have the echo like this? Is it through because you shared no echo? Oh man. The echo is gone. Okay. Now is the echo back?
Well, I can't hear any echo.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Janky Live Streams with Mark. Okay, so we have no echo, we have no Eric, and we have no Tim. Tim, am I listening to you through the call, maybe? I can't hear Eric now. Tim, am I speaking to you through Discord? I think we have Tim. Okay, we have Tim. Tim, do you hear me?
No, I heard myself through the YouTube stream.
I can hear you through the stream. I don't hear Eric though. Eric is gone. I think that the audio is set up right for Discord. So if we can get Eric through the Discord, then we'll be fine. But being as though you guys have sat here patiently for like 40 odd minutes, I think I might just jump in to actually start and showing the project. Does that sound okay to you, Tim? I mean, Tim, you can probably talk to me through Discord now. Oh no, you're listening to me through the stream.
I just muted the stream and got back to Discord now. I think
Yeah.
Eric will need to use headphones, because I think that maybe that was the echo. He didn't use any headphones.
Oh, okay. Maybe. Right. Eric, if you were there, then we're just gonna crack on, dude. Tim, if you want to try and message Eric, maybe. If you are just tuning in now, we are going to go through the NSPanel manager. So all I need to do now is put it so that you can see this overhead camera. But before I jump to that, I need to just add the audio to it. So hello and welcome. Eric, give us a sign. Okay, so if I remember, it's add audio, add this one, and add. So if I jump over to it now, we're here. Can we hear me like this? And we should also have the voice chat as well. Can we hear me before I start? Guys? Yes. We changed and it worked. Honestly, one day I will figure this out, and then we'll like live stream all the time, because it is fun live streaming. It's just stuff doesn't work. So where's the camera? The camera's like here. So we have a new S panel, but what we're going to instead do is we're going to use this one. So this NS panel is currently flashed with the NSPanel HomeAssistant blueprint, which is a really hard name. It's a great project which was created by Blackimus, but it's a really hard name to say. Whereas what we're going to be doing today is the NSPanel Manager. So if you watched my overview, I roughly skimmed through the project. There's kind of 3 main parts to it. Would you kind of agree with that, Tim? That there's 3 main parts to your project. So you've got the MQTT broker, which you can host and run on either your home platform. So in my case, it would be through HomeAssistant. You've then got the web UI, and then you've got the parts that you flash and write to the panel.
Well, yeah, I'd agree with that, but the project is kind of useless currently without HomeAssistant or OpenHub. So you will need that as well.
Okay, so the 4th thing you need is a smart home platform to actually consume and use the stuff. Which, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Can we hear Tim? Was I in the stream? So, also, can we see this panel? We can hear Tim if he speaks.
Well, yeah, that's kind of a prerequisite.
Eric is on Discord now with headphones. Eric, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh,
Not sure.
I can hear you. Can I turn your use up? Can we hear Eric? And we can see this panel in my hand. Right, let's not lose these screws. I'll put them there so you guys can see them. Yay, Eric is back. Yay. Eric, do we know what happened? I told you it was going to be janky.
I have no idea. I didn't do anything.
No, it was probably me. I probably should use like a different streaming software, but yeah. So, is everybody an NSPanel user? Do you know what the NSPanel is before we get started? If you didn't know, so the NSPanel, inside of it is a ESP chip. You then got a nice little touchscreen for doing all kinds of touchscreen actions, and then you've got 2 physical buttons. Those physical buttons link to 2 relays that you can control independently with those buttons. And that's it in short. So out of the box, you get the default Sonoff firmware, which is okay, but you're kind of limited to just Sonoff devices. And if you're in the Sonoff ecosystem, that's fine. And if you don't like the Sonoff software, then flashing is a good route, which is what we're going to be doing. But the Sonoff software isn't terrible. You're just limited to Sonoff things. There are integrations like the Sonoff LAN that you can use to actually control the stuff, some things locally anyway, even things through the panel. But the panel itself still isn't local. So what we're going to be doing is having a go at setting up the project that Tim and Eric have been working on, the NSPanel Manager. So the first thing we need to do is to put a bit of firmware on this panel, and we're going to try and do it live. So yeah, Vic's just here for the train wreck. I mean, we're 50 minutes in, and we've just been like dealing with audio issues, so it's probably about time we had some hardware issues. If you've seen any of my other NSPanel content, then the device that I always like to use is this, which is the FT232, and it's like a little USB TTL flashy thingy-mabob. And what I like to do is, if I can get this to the camera, is I like to take the header pins off of a Raspberry Pi or something like that, where you've got header pins, and I just pull the pins out and then thread my cables through. And the reason for that is just because you get this nice rigid, I mean, you could do it with anything. You could put a bit of plastic, a bit of blue tack, whatever you wanted, but yeah, you get a nice thing that holds it in place. And with the panel, that's all nicely lined up too. Can anyone hear Dave? We lost Dave. Yeah, it is like a Zoom call. I mean, it probably would have worked better if I actually did the Zoom call and passed it through there. But yeah, do you have anything you want to add to the whole flashing process, Eric and Tim?
No, not really. The image we will be releasing will be able to be flashed through anything, basically. I know there's a few softwares out there that sort of wrap around the ESP tool software that Espressifs themselves release, but
Yeah.
currently it's just a script.
Yeah, so that's the way that I'm going to be trying to do it now live, is with the ESP tool. Yeah, you can use any kind of flashing tool that you like, but the one that I'm going to use is the ESP tool. Also, it feels more pressure now because previously I had Eric on screen too, but now it's just me. What could go wrong? So what I like to do is I usually take a little spudger and I kind of just lift the panel slightly, but I don't know where I've put it unless it's in this drawer, which would be super convenient. So I just take a little spudger or something, because with this panel, underneath your pins here, underneath these pins that we are going to be using, there's a bit of metal, and if you push the pins too far through, then it will touch and it won't flash. So what I always like to do is just give it a little lift like that. I'm not going to try and zoom the camera in because I feel like I'll mess something up, so I don't want to mess the stream up again. I'd rather just get on with the project. What could go wrong? How do you do it, Tim? What's your kind of go-to, and how do you do it, Eric? How do you guys do it? Have you got?
Yeah, I usually just lay it on the back to begin with, but I have this sort of similar setup too. I use header pins, but I just stick them through a little bit and then put them on a tilt so they're in like a friction fit, and then I just hold them there because it doesn't take many seconds to flash.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, what about you, Eric? What's your kind of go-to? Because I imagine you're the same, flashing loads of
Yeah. I think Tim might have been the one that flashed this panel most. He just broke one because he's just been working on it so much. But yeah, I do the same thing. I just tilt them so it doesn't short circuit in the back there. And then I just do what Tim says. Use the script there, and it goes super fast.
Yeah, so I should probably try and get that up on screen as well, so we can see the whole flashy. Open. So if I start this terminal and then I'll share the terminal, then you guys should be able to just kind of follow along. And add a source. Is there a window capture? A window capture, that's what I want. Add. It would be too easy to do that, wouldn't it? Like, if I add it, it goes like this. Can you see like the whole drawing the mouse? Why can't why can't things just work? Yeah, drop some likes to, I'm sure if we get more likes, it'll make things work. I mean, the other thing that we could do, right, is maybe it doesn't like sharing it like this. Maybe it likes to share a desktop. I'm so well prepared. It's untrue. It's a good job it's an early release as well, right? Okay. So what we'll instead try and do is share the desktop and hide this thing. Then if I pull it up here, does that work? Oh, I also need to press this button, right? Hey. How's that? That's kind of better. I can probably put the camera behind that too, maybe. All the things that you have to think of. Like that, but transition. Put this thing on the bottom. No, put this thing there. Like that. Where should we put this? Put this like here. I can hide that event list. Then I have to remember to keep pressing the button. We're getting somewhere now. So then if I take this one and I need to flip it that way, like that. How's that? Is that better? Can you make the camera one a little bit bigger? Eric and Tim, are you having fun? That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting.
It'd be more interesting if it just worked. Okay, should we go like that? Like we can kind of see that, right? It's fine. Thanks, Vic. Thanks, Alex. Confirmation to just hype me up and get ready for this paneling. I also have a screen down here. I probably should have used this one so it's easier for me to actually read and see. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to be using now to flash this panel is the ESP. It's 29.8 degrees here, by the way, in this office with the fan on full. What we're going to be using to flash this is the ESP tool, and the way that I do this, you can tell me if you personally use this, if there's a better way of doing this, is I just open it up in the terminal. And then I just use the standard ESP. So target the tool, target the right flash. Tim, you're probably a great person to ask for this because you've probably done this millions of times. But then I sometimes be lazy and rather than actually check what COM port the actual wherever it is, wherever I've dropped it, wherever the flashy the flashy stick is, I just let it scan any port. And I mean, probably the downside to that is if you were using multiple sticks or multiple things trying to flash over your COM ports, you might accidentally flash the wrong one.
Yeah, that's basically the only drawback I know of.
Yeah. So what you could do is you could go through your device manager and find out what port your USB is on. Or if you do it how I'm going to do it now, it will just try and go through all of them. I guess the other downside is if this is on like port 10 or 7 or whatever, it will try and go through all of them till it finds it. So if you're watching and you've got a better idea of how how to do it. I don't always use ESP tool either. I've just been using ESP tool to do this because I found it kind of quite quick to do. So what we want to do is want to make sure we're on 3 volts, obviously. Have you flashed any with 5 volts, Tim?
No, I'm not. But I don't mean to try either.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna end bad.
Yes, it would. Do not flash with 5 volts. Oh, the other thing that I need to do here. So here I'm targeting the flash tool. I need to target the actual bit of firmware. So if I get that now.
I don't know if you know this, but you can also add the baud flag. I can send
Yes,
it in
you
the
can. Yeah,
chat,
yeah.
and
So
it's gonna go a lot quicker.
Yes, you can do that. How much quicker is it? Like against the default one? Does the default one?
Well, I think the default is 115200, right? I think with the highest baud, it's like, well, I don't know, 20-30 seconds maybe. If it's not even faster.
To actually flash it. What did you put for your
I sent it in the Discord chat. It's 921600.
Yeah, so you can set your baud rate to adjust the speed. Is it if it goes too fast, it doesn't flash properly? We don't want any
Well,
magic speed.
yeah, it's kind of like if it goes too quick and the connection is not good enough, it might fail.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work the first time, you can try and lower it.
Right, so basically something like that. So we want to use the ESP tool to target a right. You can set the baud rate, and you can also specify the port, which I mentioned before. Anything else? There are other flags you can target, and if you just run the ESP tool without anything, it will tell you all of the ones that you can set. So we're going to link up our ground pin, and then we're going to go straight on. I don't know if you'll hear the beeps of this. Ooh, did I make a typo there? La 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 la. I did make a typo. This is fun, right? This is why we do this live. It's hard to see as well because I've scrolled it right in. Yeah, I mean, at least it's not smoking. Okay. Right, we're right in. Yeah, so if it goes pop now, then I did something wrong. Oh, I haven't put the baud rate in. Okay. This is good, isn't it? So the baud rate that Tim was just talking about is a flag that you can set, and you can use that to adjust how fast it's writing. And if you don't put did I set one at all? No, I didn't. So I'm doing all the defaults. So mine's just writing with defaults. So it'll change how fast it goes. I mean, this isn't terribly slow, but it can be quicker. So all that we've done here is use the ESP tool to target this USB and telling it to write the firmware to the NS panel. But yeah, is there a way, like, obviously there's like ESP can do it through the web, Tasmota can do it through the web. Would that be something that you can add to the web UI, Tim?
Well, it's something I've thought about. It's nothing I've looked into, but I mean, other projects been able to do it, so
Why not? Yeah.
yeah, might look into it. It's probably not the highest of priorities, but for sure something we can look into.
Cool. Yeah, so there we go. That now should be the panel flashed. And if I go to whichever camera it was, this one. I mean, I hope we can still hear me. So that should be the panel flashed. So that's your kind of step one. Your panel's flashed. Well, actually, no. I tell a lie. Step one is to actually set up the Docker container for the whole web UI, which we also did. Well, I did it off camera anyway. So right now we flashed this, and the next step is going to be to connect to the access point for this and then connect it to the web UI. So when you start the web UI, everything is blank. And if I go to that now, just this so you can see. And mine is under 192. And it's on port 8000. So this is the web UI for the NSPanel manager. So here we can see a panel that we've got on my desk. And maybe if I switch back to like this and like this. Are you okay, Eric?
Yeah, I'm good.
I just left you in the background, sorry.
No, I'm great. I can't think of a better Friday night.
I know, right? Than struggling through this. Yeah, so the first thing that we do is to flash the panel, and with that flash then it will start an access point, and I will go into that in a second. But by default you have an empty web UI, so there's nothing actually in it. Do you want to say anything about the web UI, Tim?
Well, I hope I don't have to.
Yeah, I mean,
I've made an effort to make it self-explanatory, but I might
Yeah.
have failed. I don't know about that. Since you're the only user that's been using it other than me and Eric.
Yeah. So the concept of it is to keep it simple. So here by default you'd have nothing. So I've got the panel that's on my desk here, and along the top there we've got the NS panels. So that's the current view that we're in. So we can see any panels that we've currently added. Here we've got one that's in my office. You've then got the option for rooms, the ability to upload new firmwares and TFT files, and then you've got some settings. So I guess what we'll do is actually power this one up and actually add it in. Does that sound like a plan? Is this the part that you're worried about, Tim?
Well, not really. It's the part where you start flashing the TFT file. That's the part I had problems with.
I'm sure it'll. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. I have more panels to try out on now, so I can try and find the root of the problem.
Right. So let's reassemble the panel. How's everybody doing? It didn't go bang yet, so that's a good sign. One thing that I have found, so this is a bit off topic from the NSPanel. So Sonoff's other switch, the TX Ultimate, this one, the internal bits here where the screws are plastic, and if you turn them, like, and after you've took it on and off a bit for doing flashing, the plastic comes out, so the screws just break. Yeah, if you were interested in that. Yeah, I really like this as a project. Obviously, if you flashed it with the ESP Home, Tasmota, anything like that, you can manage it from the web, kind of, with ESP and Tasmota, but it's not the same management that you get with the web UI here. You're not dependent on ESP updates or Tasmota updates or anything like that. It's kind of its own thing. How do you plan on rolling out the updates for this, Tim? And also, can I just say, my preparation to get this done early is I've put the panel. So this is one of Sonoff's little stands that you can buy, and I've put it on sideways.
Oh.
If that's even the right one.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, why doesn't it fit? It's like the pins are the wrong way. Or is this not the right one for this? Is this the one for this thing, the TX? I think it is. Yeah. Oh. This is the one that the NSPanel should be on. Right, I tell you what we'll do instead, for the sake of time, because I mean you don't need to watch me unscrew this and screw another one in. So here's one I did earlier. So this is the one that's currently in my web UI, and we'll come back to. So this one is currently running the UI and the interface, and we'll get onto that in just a second.
You should still be able to log in to the IP address of it and show the web UI of the panel itself.
Yeah.
Just going through the IP address.
For this one, you mean?
Yeah, for the one you already have set up.
Oh yeah, what I'm gonna do is take this one off and put this one on the stand.
Ah, nice plan.
Yeah. But I was just gonna say that, like, if all fails, I'll just pop this one back on. Basically. So we'll take that one off, the good working one, and we'll put this one on. So this panel previously was running the NSPanel blueprint, which is why we've got the same TFT file, because that hasn't updated. What's updated is the underlying firmware. So what it should be doing now is it should be trying to create an access point. And I was going to say, here's my next failure. I don't have my phone here with me. But let me just grab a device that we can use.
I was just about to say switch your Wi-Fi, but
yeah, switch the whole Wi-Fi.
Maybe that's
on.
not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
I've done that with him sometimes.
Yeah, let me just disconnect from the Wi-Fi to test it.
Yeah, just trying to debug things, and Eric just disappears in the middle of a call.
Yeah, so I have a tablet that should do the trick. It's got low battery, so I'll try and do it quickly. I did warn you both before we started that it was going to be janky. That's why I did the video. That's why I did the video first.
Yeah, I'm glad to be along for the ride.
Okay. Is this going to be the right? So, in the Wi-Fi here, we can see we've got the NSPanel here. So, we flashed the firmware onto that, and now it's broadcasting its access point. So we're going to select that, and then it will ask us for a password for the NSPanel manager, which I believe is just password.
Yep.
Yeah, should be password.
Yep.
Lowercase.
Lowercase password. So we then connected to NSPanel. And that little beep was to say, I think it's connected, but it has no internet access. So what we then need to do is open up a browser. And we go to the default address of 192.168.0.1. Or was it .1.1? What was the default one, Tim?
It's 192.168.1.1.
So once we do that, we get the UI for the NSPanel manager. So basically what we're going to do here is we're just going to tell the panel what its Wi-Fi address is, and I'll do the other bits after that. So you should then be able to see it on the screen. So all I'm going to enter here is the SSID and password. So kind of like anything you do with Tasmotor or ESP Home, just connecting the ESP to your Wi-Fi.
I think you will need to enter all the details for it to save, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Okay. I feel like I'm racing against the battery life for this too. If it wasn't hard enough already. Do you need to put the MQTT for this as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
It wants all the details.
Yeah, I think it will say if it requires it when you try to save it.
Okay. So I'm just entering all the details here, and then we shall be able to see it on the screen, because I'll be able to actually see it on the network. Right, last one now is... Nope, that's done. So we've entered the Wi-Fi information, MQTT information, and then you've got the option here for the NSPanel TFT upload. So there's the latest version or there's the legacy version. How come you have both of them on there, Tim?
Because if you have a panel that is too old, it won't support the newer protocol. And that's...
Is that...
Yeah. I've not seen that in other projects.
Too old, as in if it's like brand new out of a box that you've had for ages?
I don't know. I've not seen a panel with the too old version. So I've tested the protocol, because the old protocol still works with the new panel. So it works, but I've not had an
So with the NS panels, there's actually been a couple of different models. I did have them somewhere. So they all kind of look the same, but they're not. So some of the buttons are it's the white ones that are the newer ones. So like the one that I have here, the buttons are actually more clicky, and the mounting plate is also a little bit different. But yeah, internally and everything, they're all the same. It's just there's some very small changes to them. Oh no, as the panel died. I got carried away talking about no, we're good, we're good. Whew. So I'm gonna click save there now before anything else.
Yeah, do that. Save.
Oh, the one thing that I actually forgot to enter was the manager address. So I will briefly explain what that is after I've typed it in.
Hurry, hurry.
Yeah, hurry, hurry, hurry. Go, go, go. Save. So I pressed save, the panel restarted, and funnily enough, this actually happened. This actually happened when I did my very first one. So that blue screen was the NSPanel manager, and this then is still, I think, the NSPanel manager, but it's like it skipped that screen where it doesn't know what to do. I don't know why it does that. But it's nothing to do with this project. But that means it should hopefully now have Wi-Fi. And before I do anything else, just like magic, if you saw my other video, you'll have heard me saying that like it just automatically connects, because it genuinely really does. So all I did is enter the kind of host address and everything, and then yeah, like magic, it appears. I don't know how's the best way. If I zoom out a bit, does that make it a bit easier to? Is that better? Yeah. So there's no smoke. So just like magic, this second one appeared. So the one that's offline is obviously the one that I pulled off, and the online one is the new one that we've just done. Make sense?
Yep, that's magic.
Yeah, so it just appears. So the problem that we have now is the panel doesn't have the right UI. Like, we can't do anything with this because it's using whatever the old TFT file was. So in theory, what we should now be able to do, now that we have web control over it, is we should be able to push the new TFT file to it and just start controlling it. So once you get it into the web UI, this is when the magic happens, really, because you've got all this control over it. If we click the IP address here, this will take us into the settings that I was just filling in on that tablet. It should do when it loads. Yeah. So this is when I connected to the access point. This is what I was filling in on that device. So you can set a friendly name for the panel. You can set the manager address, and the manager address is where you're running that Docker container. So where your web UI is running, and also the port. You've got your Wi-Fi information, and then you've got your MQTT broker. So this again could be wherever you're hosting it. I've entered one of the ones that's on my test HomeAssistant ones. And then also the TFT upload. So everything that I was doing on the tablet, these are the settings that you can see here. And it's this one that I believe is the all important one, because this is what tells your panel where its home is, basically. What do you say to that, Eric and Tim?
Well, yeah, it basically tells it what address to connect to and try and pull firmware updates and all that stuff. It also downloads its config once it starts. So yeah, if that's wrong, nothing's gonna work. Mm-hmm. It's just gonna stay on the first page if it has the TFT update applied. It's just gonna say registering to NSPanel manager and be stuck.
If for whatever reason there was an issue with the panel connecting to the Wi-Fi, does it just fall back where you can connect to the panel again itself? I haven't had that problem.
No, not currently, but it's something I'll plan to do. Like if it failed 10 times in a row, it's gonna open an access point or something. It's not in currently, but yeah, it's reasonable to expect that. Yeah,
so currently that's not a thing in this early build.
No. So if you enter the wrong details, you have to reflash it.
Ooh, okay. I like how you told me that after I
Yeah, after you stressed through it.
after I stressed through it on the tablet, racing against the battery life.
Yeah, but you seem to have done a good work.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
job.
we got there. So yeah, so obviously we just ran through the whole flashing part of it. The Docker side of it, if you're familiar with Docker, then it really is just a simple case of running the image and it will do all of the magic and legwork for you. And then you can just connect to the UI. There's not a ton. I say there's not a ton. Is there many configuration changes that you could make to the container or not? Is there anything you'd want to do?
Well, I think there currently is an option to change the port it's running on, but I think that's about it.
Okay, just in case you happen to be running something on 48,000.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why there's also an option in the panel to change the port.
Yeah. So question from Mike, can we actually use this yet? So currently, Mike, is still in a very early state, and the guys are going to be working on it for a little while longer, and hopefully towards the end of summer, it'll be available. And Tim's also there in the chat. Okay, so where was I with my train of thought? Yeah, so now that we have this panel in here, the problem that we have is the actual display still isn't right. So I believe we can just go ahead and do GUI update, Tim. I don't need to upload anything now.
Yeah, it should work. It's
So,
the part I had problems with the new panels, but I have
yeah.
a couple more new panels I can try out and figure that out with. But it should work.
If I missed it, but did you choose the TFT file?
No, so previously when I did this, it
Alright.
with the new Docker container, it knows what the
Yeah.
TFT file is without you manually uploading it. It should be using whatever the latest one is.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, because I haven't changed it or don't have a newer one, I just have the kind of default one, or whatever the latest one that you sent me was is rather. Where's that little page gone? So if I turn this on, and let's just spin it around. Okay. So you're not going to be able to see the button now, are you? If I move it to here. So the UI is currently wrong. And what we're going to go ahead and do now is press the GUI update for this specific panel.
Roll, come on.
Yeah, here we go. It should start trying to flash.
Yeah, hopefully it works. It seems like it works. Or maybe not.
Oh, no. It did start and then it stopped. The panel's gone offline now.
Yeah, maybe give it another try.
Dum dum dum.
This is the part that's been really tricky with this project because the upload protocol isn't really documented anywhere. Not really. There's like some guides from NextJohn, and then you can look into how USB Home sort of interpreted that guide, but it's been a lot of trial and error.
Yeah, so obviously this project is early on development, but this is the process that you actually run through, and this is the process that I've run through with 2 of the other panels. I have had a problem with one of them, but the idea is you should be able to do the GUI update there, and it should work. I'll try and reboot this, and then I'll also try and fully power cycle it, because just in case it is anything that's like a remnant from this previous one. Let's give it a go. I missed it then. Did it even flash up to do the board? How about if we try and pass it a TFT file? Or should I just power cycle it?
Oh, there's no way really to upload a TFT. This is the only way. But it will have to have a TFT file uploaded to the Docker container. But I'm guessing you have, since you have a panel since previously.
Yeah. Oh, so when it does start, like it's failed, but when it does start and it does start running, you'll see the transfer appear on the screen here, and you'll also see it actually appear on where the status is, and you'll see the actual progression of it. This is actually one of the things that I had go wrong with the other one, Tim. So when I sent you that screenshot where it goes sideways with that error.
Yeah, it should just be able to do a GUI update again. I think that orientation is like the intended orientation for that display. So if it goes back to default, it goes to that orientation, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so we can see here now it is trying to update. So on here, on the GUI, we've got this bar for updating GUI. And then on the front there, you can see it is trying to write. So it's writing very slowly, around 1%.
Yeah, this takes a good while if you're doing the first time.
Yes.
All the later times you do it, it's gonna do a partial update, and that goes a lot quicker.
Yeah.
There's also a baud rate option in the panel itself that you can change.
Yeah. So with this as well, because I'm flashing from a previous display, so we're going from the NSPanel HomeAssistant blueprint over to this one. In my testing as well, like you just said there, where it's partially got it already, it's I'd say a couple of seconds to flash, whereas this probably will be a couple of minutes. It's up to 4% now. So what we might do while we wait is just unscrew this one, and I'll put the other panel. I'll put the other panel back on, so that we have two panels. I can't believe I actually took this off as well. So I took this off and I put the wrong one back on. But yeah. Does anyone have any questions for Eric or Tim while I do this?
I think the only time where you have to reload the entire file is when we add images to the TFT file. Like if we do a big change, add a page or something. But if we just change some IDs or add a button, I think it's just the partial thing.
Yeah. Are you still here, Alex? And Vic? Are you hanging about in the chat? Is there anybody that's watched the video, the overview video, that has a specific question? Also, that this actual backend is actually neither the TX Ultimate or the NSPanel. It's actually an NSPanel Pro. So yeah, Pro. So the Pro has no buttons, and the Pro runs Android. So totally different panel that I pulled out the drawer. So I think this one is the right one now. No, this one is not the right one either. This one is the this one is this. This is the TX, so it's a T5 backplate. How we can get a new one is if we just take the new one straight out of the box. That's a better idea. At least I'll have the right one. So here's one that I made earlier. So how are we doing stream wise? Sorry, stream. I've been ignoring you. How are we doing on the old likes? We've got some likes. We're up to 29 likes. How many people have we got watching now? 27. Right, if we get up to 40 likes, then we will. You guys don't. I'll give away some of these brand new NS panels because we have a few of them. So if you're interested in getting yourself an NS panel, let me know which color you'd like, the gray one or the white one. We can give it away. So get those likes up. How I'll do this is I'll just pick one of you from the chat, and then after the chat, yeah, we'll exchange some details and whatever. Right, so this is what I want. So while we're kind of on the topic of this panel, so that panel's still updating. You can't see it. It's up to 17%. Currently, this is working with the NS panel, the EU version, so the square one. The other one is the US version, which is the rectangular version. Eric or Tim, do you want to go through the state of play with the US version?
I'll leave that to Eric, I think.
Yeah, we have some US version panels on the way, so we can adapt the GUI to that one as well. So the plan is to make sure that we support those panels as well. So as soon as they arrive, I will start redoing the graphics file that format.
How long
See
does
how
that
goes.
does that take you doing the conversion, or is it something you've not had to do before?
I haven't done it. We'll see. Hopefully I can just take my file and change the orientation, and then I probably will have to change some pictures, but not like recreating all the pages and all the buttons and so on. But I'm not sure actually if you can do that. Maybe I have to just make a new project and kind of copy paste it.
Yeah. Do you do that all with the Next-Gen editor? Is that what you use?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the way it's working is all the Next-Gen itself can have some code on it, but I think we've stripped out almost all the code from the Next-Gen chip itself, and all it does is just pass data through to the ESP chip, and the ESP chip handles everything from updating the display with new values and all of that.
So on the GUI now, so because this is its first time flash, we're up to 25% on there, and I don't want to move it in case I knock it, but it's still flashing, so it also shows that same time. Probably by the time it's finished, I might actually have these screws in. Oh, here's something that I haven't ran into because I've not done it like this before, where they have the same names. Is there a problem if two panels have the same name, or is there like an underlying ID that differentiates them?
No, it shouldn't be a problem. I think all the logic goes by the MAC address of the panel, so there shouldn't be a problem. And the MAC address is registered with the panel when it registers to the manager itself.
Yeah.
There should also not be problems. We had problems previously, but I don't think it's still a problem to run multiple managers if you want to have like a test setup and a live setup.
I very nearly just put the new panel on here then. We'd have been looking at the Sonoff UI. Right, here's the grey one that we did earlier. Do you use these as well, Eric and Tim? These little mounts, the Sonoff mounts.
I have one actually, so I have that in one room. Other than that, I have all installed in the walls.
Yeah, no, I have one lying without the backplate, without the relays. It's just lying on my desk. That's how I do it. But it would be nice to get one of those.
Yeah, so I just missed it then, but so basically what's happening now is this one's updating to get this UI, and when that completes, it will look something like this. On startup, you get that really nice NSPanel manager screen. And then this is what the UI looks like. You've been working on this UI for quite a long time now.
Yeah.
How long would you say it was, Eric?
I started this design thing and thinking when the NSPanel came out, and I started trying to do my own version with the ESP Home. So it's been a couple of different takes, but I would say that I've kept kind of the original idea that I thought up when I started. So I've kind of taken all my years of trying different buttons and thinking about how to best control a home, like not just for me, but for like a normal person that is not interested in home automation, just a family member or a guest. So that's what I've had in mind when I did it.
Okay. Interestingly, do you know how I said about like what happens if the two panels have the same name?
Yeah, it seems like there is a problem.
Yeah. So this isn't something that I've done before. So here we go, guys. Some live troubleshooting. So what it looks like it's doing is it looks like that and that. Can you see? Like one is going on and then the other one's going off.
Yeah, I actually seen that once when I had two installations of Docker, and I accidentally chose the same name. I saw that as well. Went from offline to online, but I think just change the name and it should be fine.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Is it gonna
I think you can access it, actually. That's what I did. I just changed the
through
name.
the IP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go back and just press the IP.
That is what I've done, I think. Like, I've just opened this.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I just opened
sorry.
it.
I think I'm a bit couple of seconds behind on the stream.
Original panel, I'll call it. Yeah, so I've not done this yet where it's so I've renamed it and it's rebooting. There we go. And that looks like it's working now because it's got the grey. So maybe there is an issue currently if you have two panels that have the same name.
Yeah, it seems like it, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't have affected the update though.
No, the update's carried on like throughout that, which is good.
Nice.
So if I go to this one now, so now you'll see that it looks the same as it did before, except these lights are now on. I'll show you in the UI the web UI what that looks like. But here, so the UI for the panel is broken down into kind of 4 sections. So you've got the ceiling lights, table lights, and then you've got a brightness slider and a color temperature slider. Tim, I don't know if you want to talk about how the firmware works, because I said this to you when we had a call the other day. Like, the first thing that I noticed about using this firmware and this setup is how much more responsive and snappy the NSPanel is, because if you've ever used an NSPanel before, Sonoff firmware can be a bit sluggish, and that's the same for some of the other projects and things that I've tested out. But this one actually is just like really quick, and it makes it feel like it's a different touchscreen, even though it's not, but it's just because the actual software is better.
Well, I think Eric was running ESP Home based. You didn't use any blueprint or anything, but you just used raw ESP Home with MQTT. And I believe one of the issues you ran into was the usage of RAM and the limitations of MQTT. So when you're trying to change loads of lights, like you're doing when you're pressing the table lights or the ceiling lights button, it tries to send, say you have, if you go into all lights and you have 30 lights added, it's going to try and send 30 different MQTT messages. The way this firmware is organized, it's just going to send one, and it's going to say, I want to set all these lights to this brightness level or this color temperature or whatever it might be. So that's one of the ways, one of the explanations why it's quite snappy. It's also been purposely built from the ground up to be responsive. It's one of the design decisions we made when we started this.
Yeah, and it's definitely worked. So on the UI, what was that? Sorry.
I'm glad that you feel it's snappy
Oh yeah,
and responsive.
yeah. So a question there on does the NSPanel Manager, is it a HomeAssistant add-on or is it a container? So currently it is just a standalone Docker container, but hopefully, Tim, you'll be able to get it working as a container as a add-on, sorry, for Home Assistant.
Yeah, I had a look at making a Home Assistant add-on, and it didn't look too hard. Because basically, the Home Assistant add-on is just a container in the background with a little configuration to it. So we should be able to make that work.
Yeah, cool. I did kind of show roughly what that might look like as well. In that
Yeah, I saw
overview
that.
video.
That was cool.
Yeah. So, as a Home Assistant OS user, you'll be able to hopefully just go into add-ons, select like the NSPanel Manager, and just click install, and then it will do the rest for you. Currently, without that, you'll have to spin up Docker if you're not already running it anywhere, and you'll just have to set up the Docker container in Docker, and that will run your web UI. Back to the UI then. So you've got the 4 sections: your ceiling lights, table lights, a brightness slider, and like a color temperature wheel. Along the bottom, you've got the current room that it's currently in. So this one by default is set to my office, and then just next to it, you can see the group or the target that your lights are currently set to. So currently it's set to the lights in this room, but if we click that, it will change to all lights, and click it again, it'll go back to the room lights. There's little arrows here that you can use to cycle between the different rooms. On this current one that I have here, I've only got the 2 rooms, so I've got a living room or my office. The individual options there, they act as groups. Is there anything else you'd say about that, Eric? What was your reasoning for using the groups?
I think I wanted to, or sorry, the groups, the room, or
Oh, so how you've got like table lights and ceiling lights?
yeah, I think my thought was like these are supposed to replace our old wall switches, and with the old wall switches we control ceiling lights. So I wanted the user to be able to do exactly that, but also be able to control the rest of the lights in a house. And I mean, at least here in Sweden, we have a lot of table lights. So it's for me it was, yeah, it was natural to divide it into table lights and ceiling lights. And normally, I think a lot of people they maybe not they're not using the ceiling lights that often, just
Yeah,
when they're working or
like a
yeah,
bit of accent
extra
lighting.
lights. Exactly. So I just wanted the user to have an easy way of controlling all the lights in the current room, and not if we didn't do that dividing between them, you would always turn on the ceiling lights and all the table lights at the same time. So
Makes sense, I
and
guess.
also I think the one thing to add as well is if there are lights on and you touch the slider, there are lights that will be affected is only the lights that are currently on. So you won't turn on lights that are off in that scenario. It kind of depends on where you're at, what happens when you touch the display.
Okay, that's quite cool.
Yeah, so if you have 3 table lights now, and you turn one off, and then you touch the brightness, you will only affect the 2 that are on.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but it's gonna
Yeah.
kind of keep the state of the other light that's off still being the same. So when you turn it on, it will turn on to the same color temperature.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. I didn't actually know it did that. So yeah, that's a nice feature to have. So with how I've got this set up now with my office one, I think I have I can click it, can't I? So I can you can click the light, yeah, click the room, sorry, and it will show you all the lights that you have listed in that room. So I've got my key light, which is on here. I've got the cube, which I think might be this one here, maybe. And then I've got the glide, which is a light on the wall. So I could individually turn these on and off. If I wanted to control, like, say, just that light by itself, I could click that light, and then this particular light's got a brightness slider on it, so I could control that. The same with the key light here. This key light has been set up to have color temperature and brightness, so I could adjust those sliders there, and wherever you drag and stop, it will change to. I won't play with this one too much. Then on the top as well, you'll notice that you have all of these little arrows, and these little arrows are kind of persistent throughout the UI, and they can be used to navigate between rooms or sets of controls. So along the top here, we can control the different room that it's in. If we press the one in the far left, it'll take us back to the main page. And then down on the bottom here, that same little arrow, you'll also see that there. So this one is to change the room, and this one is again to change the light selection. So you can either have it as all the lights in that specific room or all of the lights everywhere. Is that kind of like a good explanation for it, Eric?
Yeah, I think so. I'm just thinking about yeah,
Grouping,
kind of,
and you can select, you can press and hold to.
yeah, exactly.
There's lots of different modes for it. Like if all the lights are turned off, it's gonna turn on all the lights. But if they are locked, it's just gonna turn on that group of lights. And so there's lots of different ways you can manage them. But I think we've found a good solution as to what you want to do in different situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
I think yeah, maybe I missed a couple of things that you said there, but one thing that I experience a lot is, I mean, you have the lights turned on that you want to have turned on, but the thing that you want to change is maybe the color settings, so the Kelvin. And then it's just super easy to change that, and you can do that in your entire house as well if you just switch to all lights. Because normally, at least, I want all the lights
to be matching
in most
the
cases.
same.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
If I'm home alone, at least, but then there might be another family member in another room, and they want their Kelvin in another way. So I want them to be able to change that in an easy way without affecting everything else.
Yeah. If you're joining now, I've seen that a few people have just joined now. Then currently, the people that you can hear are Eric and Tim, and they're the guys that have been developing the NSPanel manager. If you want to check out how Eric was just talking then about the color temperature management, Eric's done a video on this as well, and you can find a link to his channel in the description, and he runs through that whole all of this grouping and changing the colors. One nice thing that I do like, which we spoke about the other day, Tim, as well, and I think you also mentioned it in your video, Eric, was how you could go into the panel, and you can, it's in the settings, I think. Can I leave this page while it's updating?
Yeah, you should be able to. It's just running in the background, so as long as the container is up and running, it's gonna keep on chugging.
Yeah, okay. That's something else that I haven't tried doing yet, so I didn't want to break it on 92%. But yeah, it's
Should be fine. Eric updated all his panels at the same time, and it worked out fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time works super good.
Yeah, so reversing the color temperature slider, One thing that I did notice earlier, Tim, with the UI was when you look at that capitalization. When you're in here and you okay, it's not doing it now. It could be a browser specific thing, but like when I was changing the modes here, this was just like non-stop flicking on and off.
I can't see what here is, but
yeah, so like on this box,
I think you still have the camera pointing at the desk, so I don't know what this box is.
Damn it, I forgot to do it. I went into the settings and I forgot. Sorry. Here. So when you're changing the button mode in the settings, how it does this, like it expands to give you the information about it. It might just be a browser specific thing, but when I was playing around with this earlier,
it might be when you really get down to the, if you put it on just the right pixel, it's kind of flicker.
Yeah.
Might be.
Ooh, so this one is now nearly done. We're on 98% with this. So when that completes, it should reboot. And yeah, we should then start being able to control and add things to it. I think I'll wait just for that one to finish. And then I'll show off how you like add. Oh, it's literally just finished. Hooray. So hopefully now it comes back to life. So this one's just finished cooking, and there we go. It is now flashed with NSPanel Manager. So if you're just tuning in now, hey Martin, yeah, currently the US panel isn't supported, but Eric is waiting to get a hold of some of the US versions, and then he's going to start working on that. But yeah, if you're just jumping in now, right at the beginning, I say right at the beginning, but midway through the stream, we started flashing this thing, and yeah, it's now running the firmware, and we've got the UI. So these two are now identical because there's no change to them. It's just using the default settings, which happen to be my office. So if I jump back over to the web, and I'll put this maybe like here, maybe there, so you can see the panel. So after all of that, the first thing you do is obviously you set up your Docker container for your web UI, you flash your panel, you you update the TFT file so that you've got this nice display. Once you've done all of that, the panel is now controllable, and we can start messing around with it within the web UI. So this new one that we've just done is this NSPM panel. So if we wanted to rename that here, we could don't click there. We click the. Can you name it somewhere else? You do. I know you can do it on the IP. Can you do it somewhere else?
Yeah, no, it's currently just on the
that's the
panel's web server.
Right. So if you want to rename the device, you can click the IP address, which will give you the device specific settings, and we can change the friendly name.
Yes.
So if I turn my capital locks off now, and I'll call it white panel and save, then that panel should reboot, and we get the NSPanel screen. And there we go, it's back to life. They reboot really quickly as well. That's one thing that I've quite liked about them. Like when you turn them off and back on.
Yeah, they should be quick. What I'm starting to work on is like a live reloading of config, so it doesn't have to reboot. So if you change a light or something, it's just gonna update without a reboot, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
But just as I started working on that, I managed to break the NSPanel. So I haven't been able to do any work for about a week and a half.
Yeah. If we get to 40 likes as well, guys, I'll be giving away some of these NS panels. So if you're interested in a white one or a grey one, then let me know which one you want and drop a like. Okay, so yeah, so now we've got this added. We can start messing around with it and changing it. So it's set to my my room, which is my office. So let's just create a brand new room for this one. So let's say now we're putting this white one in the kitchen. I don't know if I have kitchen on this one. No, I don't. So let's add a new room and I'll call it kitchen. It's hard to remember what I've been doing because I've been playing around with a bunch of these.
Always nice to hear.
Yeah.
So you haven't managed to break it yet, other than the stuff you've told us?
Other than the stuff that I've said, I don't think I've had many issues.
Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, I had one where it restarted a couple of times, but it's been fine. If you are watching, this is a very early build, and you can see like, well, I don't know if you think so, but I personally think so. Like, I think it's amazing, even in its current state now. So it's just really exciting to see where it goes from here. A couple of people did ask about where and when they can get a hold of this. So Tim and Eric are currently developing this, and they kindly gave me an early access to it just to have a play around with it and see what I think. But the plan is to release it. It'll be publicly accessible towards the end of the summer. But you guys are going to be launching a Kickstarter to help with the development funds and actually purchasing more panels to do testing on. Do you want to say a bit about that, Eric?
Yeah, I was just writing to Tim and asked, like, should we just launch the Kickstarter? Because we've had this pre-launch page for 1 to 2 weeks. They say that you should have that, and we've had that, and we've done some promoting about it. So I'm actually trying to launch the project right now. We think Kickstarter is a fun thing. We want to see how big the interest could be in a thing like this, and it's not a big one, but we would like to buy a bunch of panels to test this in a bigger setting, and also bring some food to the table to Tim, who's doing a lot of hard work on this.
Well,
I am too,
I'm
but
starving currently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just pressed launch. I didn't read the agreements, but I pressed launch. So now it's up there.
Yeah. So
yeah, check that out later. It's
so
some text to read.
The link to the Kickstarter is in the description below. So if you're interested in this, if you like what you've seen so far, and you want to help these guys, fund the project and help get some more work done on it, then feel free to contribute to it. It's worth noting that although this is a Kickstarter, it's not something that you do have to become a backer for. It's not like if you don't back it, you don't get access to it. It is going to be publicly accessible and open source, but to help with this, to help them do more testing, to get more panels, and to help feed Tim. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you've liked it.
I need some beer as well.
Yeah.
No, but it's 30 days, and I think we've said that we hopefully in 30 days we have something that we can launch. We think it's enough done by that time.
Yeah, and as I was saying, like, look how much you can do already. It's amazing for what it is. A few people have asked if it will work with this panel, which is the NSPanel Pro, and unfortunately it doesn't work with this, but the reason for that is because this thing doesn't have an ESP32 chip inside of it. This runs a variant of Android, so although this one is very nice looking, it doesn't work on this.
Oh, we actually I don't know if you want to say anything about that, Tim, but we just talked briefly on it. I mean, nothing is impossible.
No, we've been talking, well, briefly about it. That there might be possibility to create a web page that looks like the NSPanel and behaves in the same way. So even if you have a pro version, you can still use the same interface. But it's not something that is currently planned. There are more high priority tasks to do.
Everything is just about time and how much time you can put into it. But,
Yeah. With the Pro, do you see that being a real thing? Because, like, I was previously using these with just loading my Home Assistant dashboard. I just created a straight up dashboard for the panel, and I could use that to do everything. Do you see there being a big use case where people would use the Pro to manage the pros?
Well,
I'm
I
thinking-
don't know, but I mean, we're gonna open up the GitHub page, and hopefully people can submit enhancements and requests on what they want to have, and that way we can kind of gauge the interest and see what kind of response it gets.
I think what I see as the good thing is with this is that if you would like to have a standardized way of controlling your home where all the panels looks the same and you can do the same thing from every room, then I guess it could be an interest of using the Pro as well, just to get that standardized interface and an easy way to set all the panels up with the rooms and the lights that are in the room with the API to Home Assistant or OpenHAB, for example. Because otherwise, I guess you need to create that page for each of the panels and do all that work by yourself.
Cool. So I think the next thing for me to kind of do then is, so we've got this white panel now, and I guess what I'd want to do is start adding some devices to it.
I think we were talking about creating a new room.
I think I dropped the Discord. Dum dum dum. Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
It'd been a while before I had some technical issues. I don't think I can hear you through Discord now, but I think you're still in the stream because I can see the bar moving. You can hear me without problems. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Hey, we have the first backup.
Wow, that's cool.
Wow. Thanks. That's very nice of you.
Thanks, Martin. Yeah, so annoyingly I can't hear you guys through Discord anymore, so I'm actually hearing you through the stream. So there's a bit of a delay now.
Okay.
It was going so well. I don't know why it's why bad things happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to run through how you'd go about. So we've got the panel set up. We can start adding things to it. I'm going to quickly run through what you can do in terms of Home Assistant with adding things. It's really annoying that I can hear my own voice, but I'll add a few things with Home Assistant, and then if you've got any questions, we'll kind of go from there. It was going so well, Alex, and the stream's breaking down now. We've hit that 2-hour mark.
It's been 2 hours already.
It has.
Time flies.
Yeah.
Still a few more things to go through if people are interested.
Yeah.
It's like rooms and item management and scenes. You got a version that has scenes working for Home Assistant.
Yeah, so I'm going to run through add in a few Home Assistant devices, and then if you guys have got any questions then for the developers or anything about the project or anything you want to see specifically, then we'll do that. So with this white panel now, the first things that we can do is we can modify what the buttons do. So you can have it in direct mode or you can have it in detached mode, and all that does is it basically tells it whether the button can control the relay or if you want to decouple it. And the reason that might be useful is you might want to have a physical button tied to a set light or a set device, maybe when devices become a thing, but you can physically use that button then to do that. If we come into the rooms, so with the rooms, you've got the room list. So the new room that we created was the kitchen. And we can see that the current panels that are assigned to Mark's office is the original panel and the white panel. So in here, this is where we come to actually start adding lights. So obviously with the kitchen, we might want to have some kitchen lights. So if we go to add light, one thing that I didn't show is in the settings is where you actually set up your Home Assistant. So the reason that this knows what light to have in Home Assistant is because it's bound to the Home Assistant API, and it uses the authorization token to just get that access, so it can query any lights you have in your light domain. So back in rooms then, if we head into kitchen, we could say add light, and there's a couple of different filters you can have. You've got all, you can have Home Assistant lights, you can have open hab, and then you've got manual. Obviously, as we only have Home Assistant, we can only select ones that I have in Open Assistant. I just create a new system there.
Sounds nice. Fully open.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's fixed now. Can you speak, Tim? I think Discord's working again. I heard
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, and are you speaking, Eric? Can you speak?
Yeah, I'm speaking
It's
now.
fixed.
Hello.
I don't have to listen to
Oh.
myself.
Oh,
Just magically fixed.
wonderful.
It's fixed. Yeah. There we go. So this was another bug that I've found. So I can't scroll this list.
Yeah, no, that's fixed in my development version.
Oh, okay, cool. There we go.
Have you tried the search function? It's amazing.
So if I wanted to search for triangle,
Yeah.
ooh, or cube maybe.
Yeah, do that.
Lots of my lights are named after shapes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So one thing with this early version, currently only lights are supported, but in time, more devices will be added and there'll be new UI options for those kinds of things. Yeah, because so what I found instantly with doing this was lots of my lights that I use are all physical switches. So the majority of my lights are all in the switch domain. So it'd be like switch dot whatever. So that's where the majority of mine are. So let's just pretend this. What should we go with? Maybe one you can see that I haven't added. The left cube maybe. So let's try that cube search again. Cube. So my hypercube, and we'll say that this one's a ceiling light. You can set a name for the light here, and this name doesn't have to be what it is in Home Assistant. This is just a friendly name that you want to represent on the panel. So if I just call this left cube, so I actually remember what it is. When you add the device, you first have to set the type, so whether you want it to be a ceiling light or a table light. And depending on the option you choose will determine what part of the UI it comes into. So you have, if you remember the 4 different sections, you have your ceiling lights and table lights. So if I set this one to be a table light for the kitchen, you can then set the control mode, and you have the options of it being dimmable or switch. So if you have the ability to dim that, then you'd set that. And if you can only switch it on and off with not being able to adjust it, then you'd select switch. So with this cube, I think it should be dimmable. The other capabilities it has is color temperature and also RGB, and they should give you the color temperature slider and also the your little color wheel slider. once we click add, this is the part that I really like. Is this little section down here? I don't actually know what you call this part, Tim, but it's like the visualizer for the lights.
Yeah, and it's a way that you can rearrange them. So you can remove and add lights as you like. Per default, when you add a new light, it's just gonna pop in the first free slot, basically.
Yeah, so this
It's not gonna allow you to add the same light twice. So that's why if you just have one light and they're all populated, and you press an empty slot, it's just gonna bring up an empty list.
Yeah. So with these here, are you going to be able to select these buttons to add them? Is that plan for those on this?
Select the buttons. Yeah, if you remove the left cube, if you press it on the picture.
So I don't think it works on mine.
Doesn't it work? It should work.
Yeah, in this version. So I don't have any options here.
Yeah, but if you clear that one, if you clear the left cube,
oh yeah,
the left cube is gonna show up as an option because it will only let you add.
Okay.
The left
yeah,
cube
so
one.
because the left cube's already there. Okay. So if I add another light then, and we'll go with the sync box, and I'll call that one. I think I did the table light for the other one, so I'll do ceiling light, dimmable, color temperature, RGB. Okay, so if I clear this, then I should now have both of them. Yeah. Yeah, cool. So, so with the lights here, you can build up a list of lights that you want to appear in that room. And then in this little visual panel here, you'll see it start to build up, and that's what you're going to see presented in your panel. You can, if you decide you want to change the name or you want to change the properties of it, you can just simply click the little edit button there, and then you could go through and change those. So maybe you forgot to add color temperature or something like that, you could go in there and save. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 12. You can have 12 different lights per room. Is that right?
Well, you can have as many lights as you want,
Does it
but
keep tabbing across?
It's just gonna allow you to show 12 on the page.
So can you have like an infinite number of lights?
There's no hard limit in place, no.
Oh, so what happens when you fill that screen? Does it go to just a new page?
No, it just doesn't add them anymore.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So let's add left cube, and we'll add the sync box back. So in my kitchen, I've now got those 2 lights. And if you were here previously in the stream, you'll have heard Tim say that currently, for those changes to take effect, for it to actually be visualized on the panel, you have to reset the panel for it to pick up those changes. But he is working on something where when you make those changes, they should automatically appear. Is that right, Tim?
Just when I'm drinking. But yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'll switch back to this one now to just show you. So here on this panel, we've got Mark's office. We've got the living room and no kitchen. And so the kitchen's not there because I added it after. So back in the UI, if I restart it, and if I just go back to the panels here and I find the white panel and just press reboot, then that will start booting, and now I should have a new room. So Mark's office, living room, and kitchen. And if I select the kitchen, we can see we've got those 2 new lights that we just added there through the web UI. So I've got the left cube and also the sync box. And I should now be able to, so you can't see this, but it's in my hand. If I turn the left cube off, then the cube here turns off. And if I turn it back on, it turns on. Like magic. If we select the left cube, if you remember those settings that I added the dimmable, so I've got an option there for a slider for being able to control that, and then with that particular cube, because it also supports color temperature and color wheels, you can see you've got the options for it there. So just using those sliders, you can slide it up and down. Is it the color one you're thinking of changing the way that works? Did you say something about color the other day, Tim?
No, I can't
No.
remember it. But there is more options to that page if you press the little icon up in the right.
Going back into the item, was that?
Yeah, into an RGB item. If you press the icon up in the right, it's gonna allow you to change more than just the color. It's gonna allow you to change.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, it's brightness, hue, and saturation.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, you've got all the options available.
I have a change request on that page, but we'll have to discuss that.
Yeah, so
I think brightness and Kelvin should be the one that is seen first, and then you can press the color mode, and then the saturation and color will appear. But that's up for discussion, I guess.
Yeah. So no more reboot for each change, auto update. Yeah, so basically when you make those changes in the web UI, currently for the change to take effect, you have to reboot the set panel that you've made the changes on by just pressing one of the different reboot options. There's one inside of the panel itself or the one on the main page.
Sorry, can I add a thing there? I'm not sure if it's clear, but if you rebooted both of them, the change would be on both of them, right?
If you reboot both panels.
Yeah, so the changes or the things that you did to that room, it doesn't have to do with that panel. It has to do with the room that you made. So and all the rooms are on all the panels. So if you reboot the panel, it will be in all of them.
Yeah. So this one here now doesn't know what that room is because this one hasn't rebooted. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But if you do, it will have that data as well.
Yeah. So if I rebooted this panel now, it would know that there's a new room that's been created, and this will see it. So yeah, currently this one just has the office and living room, and if we reboot the original panel, that will now pick up the kitchen room, and it shows it because it loads too quickly. It shows you when it boots up how many rooms it's loading. So I saw then it had 3 rooms. So now we've got Mark's office, living room, and kitchen. So you'll notice that after leaving them for a few seconds, the screen goes off. And when the screen does go off, when it goes into its sleep mode, it will revert to whatever the default room is for that panel. So these are both set to my office. But obviously with our white one, this is our kitchen panel. So we wouldn't want that one going to the office because those aren't the lights that we care about. So if we select the particular panel that we want, so in our case the white panel, we've got this option then for a default room. So if we set that to be kitchen and then click save, when our screen goes off then the panel should be kitchen, but that
you'll need to reboot as well.
Yeah, so that config change also doesn't take effect until a reboot yet, so we would need to reboot it first. But now when this comes up, it should be set to the kitchen, and it is. So this one is now the kitchen by default, and if we wake this one up, this one is my office. But yeah. Do you have anything else to add on that, Tim?
No, not really. I mean, it's just you can create rooms and you can add devices to them, and it's gonna populate on the panels once you reboot. I hope it's self-explanatory.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I've been using it for a few days, and I think it's the way it's laid out is really nice. The way that you've done the UI is also really nice, Eric. And you've spent a long time, you know, tweaking it and coming up with it. We're getting up to 2.5 hours now. If you are just joining in, it's still so hot in here as well. We're 30 degrees in here now. It's really hot. It's 30 degrees and it's 11 o'clock at night. Yeah, if you if you're jumping in now, we're almost at 45 likes. If we get up to 45 likes, I'm going to be giving away some of these NS panels. So let me know in the chat. Would you want the white one, or I haven't got a grey one anymore. Oh look, I do. The white one or the grey one? Which one would you want to use? So yeah, let's get those likes up and we'll give some panels away. Just let me know, white one or a grey one, and then I'll choose somebody. Also, if you're just tuning in, the Kickstarter for this was launched in the stream. And if I hide this, there we go. So there is a Kickstarter for this, and the purpose of the Kickstarter is to just help the developers. So I've got both of them here in the chat. You can't see them, but you can hear them, Eric and Tim, and they're working to just make a bit of money to help with the development funds for this, to help buy new panels, and to help keep Tim alive by feeding him. So yeah, as a preference, David, I personally really like the white one. I did mention this right at the beginning as well, but the white one came out after the grey one, and they made some refinements to it, so you probably won't be able to hear it in the thing, but the buttons are a lot more clicky on the white version, and the back plate is also slightly different. It's supposed to be easier to take off, but I don't think it is. Yeah. Yes, Matt is right. You can see about 30 nerdies online, but there's only 6 people backing. Yeah, with the whole Kickstarter, you don't have to back it in order to get access to it, but by backing it, you're helping fund the project, and you know, look how cool it is already. This is in a very early state, so let's get it funded and get some work done on it. I think that's probably the main kind of overview. I've kind of, if you are interested in seeing some of the other things that I overviewed, I did also create an overview video, which is linked in the description. Eric also did a run through, and that's available on his YouTube channel, and that's also down there in the description. So feel free to check both of those out, and you'll get a better idea of what this project's going to be and where it's going. Is there anything that I've gone through or mentioned that either you, Tim, or you, Eric, would want to expand on a little bit more, or any of you guys in the comments? Is there anything that you'd want to see in a bit more detail, something that I can show you now, or any questions that you have for the developers while they're here?
Well, we're currently working on scenes. I think we just managed to get scenes online and running, one part of the scenes. So the scenes functionality is going to be kind of split. So you're going to be able to have scenes managed by the NSPanel manager, and you're going to be able to save them on the panels and recall them and all of that stuff. But you're also going to be able to recall scenes in, say, HomeAssistant or OpenHub from the panel if you already have scenes set up. Other than that, I think you've covered everything.
Yeah, so scenes, the early version of scenes is also in the version that I have here. So I just swap the camera over. With scenes, there's an icon in the top left of your panel here, and if you select that, you'll if you've added any scenes to your room. So on this one, there's nothing in the kitchen, but I have 2 available in my office. I'm not going to click them now because they changed this this light that I have here. But basically, whatever state your lights are currently in that room, when you select an option and save it, it will make it will take like a snapshot, if you like, of how those lights, what the state of them currently is, and it will save it in that scene. And then whenever you recall that scene, the lights will go back to that state. So let's say, for example, this cube behind me, if I made it blue or changed the temperature or color of it, whatever, when I saved it as a scene, then it would always revert back to that, if that makes sense. But yeah, can Home Assistant change what's on the panels in an automation? Currently, I don't think there's much in the Home Assistant side that you can do with the panel and the interface. You can control some parts of the panel by making use of MQTT. So that's the whole MQTT side of things. So you can do things currently like you can control the relays, you can turn the screen on and off. What else can you do, Tim? I can't remember without looking on.
You can
Git
control
page.
the relay. You can, control the screen, and you can also, of course, get the state of the relays and the state of the screen. There's also you can recall scenes and activate scenes as well through MQTT.
I guess there's possibility to add more things there, because I think that a normal use case or a thing that a user would want. I see Automagic Vic here asks me to mention the alarm panel idea, but for example, I've used in my old version, I used to, when I came home, for example, I pushed, or my home automation system told the panels to bring up the alarm page, for example, so I could deactivate the alarm. So I think we should want to have those kind of things where you bring up a specific page for a specific moment. Maybe a unlock button to unlock the door or something if someone rings your bell or something. There's tons of those things that you could create if you have time and did the effort.
Yeah, so there's a question there. Are we talking about Sonoff scenes or Home Assistant scenes? So the scenes that I just ran through then, the scenes that are here, these ones are the ones that are created with the panel itself. So they're panel settings, but will you also in the future be able to trigger standard Home Assistant?
So that's the plan.
Yeah.
You will be able to have either the scenes controlled by the NSPanel manager, and then you can add another scene that is already set up in, say, Home Assistant.
Yeah.
There's also plans for adding manual MQTT entities, so you don't have to go through Home Assistant or something if you only have MQTT set up.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex is saying we could have an automation to show when I'm streaming. So we could have an automation to show when the stream starts, and then you need to offset that by about 40 minutes just to make sure all the technical hitches are out the way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think we're right. We're talking about that in the Kickstarter as well. The future, the things that we're thinking about being able to add. So there's a lot to read there if you want to go through that.
On the Kickstarter page now, is that?
Yeah, exactly. So in my dream, in my dream world, there would be like also a way for the user to make custom pages to be able to do that weird thing that only that user does if they're an experienced user. But that's the like maybe last thing that we should do. But
being able to design your own. Yeah. So I think one of the things that makes this different from a lot of the projects that are out there now, those ones are either they give you a template or like a starting point, and then you have to modify the UI yourself, or you just take what's already there and then just add your own elements to it. But with this one, you've got kind of like a solid UI and foundation for all of the things, and then you just plug your parts into it. But it's not just that, you've got this whole web UI that actually allows you to manipulate and change all of these, and you can do it all. Yeah, it's nice. I really like it. And I'm sure I've said that about 100 times now, but are there any more questions? Can it stream cameras? No. Is that something that you'd want to have on a small display? I know that like
That's a
so
good question.
with the NSPanel Pro, this thing can do RTSP streams, and it's like a really cool feature to have. But it's something that me personally anyway, I never would use. But that's just me. Like I could see something like that if you're in an apartment or something, and you've got that as like your light switch by a door or something. Then that could be quite cool because they have a microphone as well, so they can do like an intercom. But I don't think is there enough power in the ESP to do all of these things and stream a camera feed, and the screen is also smaller.
I think the ESP32 chip could probably handle it at a pretty low FPS, but the problem is you can't show an image on the display if it's not in the TFT file.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, because of the whole how
Probably the
next
screen.
gen stuff works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are next gen screens that could do video, I think, but this cannot.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to take your whole panel apart and put a brand new screen in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're probably spending a fair bit more money than just to get it to work. What about notifications? Like, I can't remember if I asked you that the other day, Tim. I feel like maybe I did.
I don't think we haven't talked about it, but I can see a use for it for sure.
Yeah.
But again, with the limitation with that is because you've got like a small screen. The text that you're gonna have is also going to be quite.
Yeah, I think you can do. I thought about that in my earlier project because you can do a rolling text on the next gen screen. So I mean, you could bring up a pretty big font and make it scroll on the page. So I think you could definitely have a use case for that, and it will.
Yeah, so Aaron, currently this is what we're looking at today. This is just a very early look at the project, but hopefully towards the end of summer it will be available for everybody.
Yeah, we've just I don't know, Eric, how long have been at this? I think 3 months, 4 months, something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
So hopefully more to come.
Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah, so yeah, if you think about that, this is like the majority of all the foundation work is all there now. It's now kind of refining it, getting more features in it, and then it'll be like ready for testing. But yeah, what features would you guys in the stream like to see?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So one thing that I did speak to you about, Tim, and I also noticed in some of your earlier panel designs, Eric, is the clock. Having a little clock in the top right corner.
I had that. I kind of did it because everyone else did it.
Just for the sake of it.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I mean it's not a hard thing to add. It's not that often that I see a use case for it, personally at least.
I guess when you think about it logically, like, would you look at your light switch for the time?
I don't know.
That's one of the things we've done with this project is look at things logically. Like, it's cool. You might want to have a time on it, but why? Like,
how are you gonna?
When are you gonna look at it for the time? So we've tried to make the interface clean and usable on how we think you want to use it.
Yeah.
I probably think we have thought less on the people on this stream, the nerds. We have thought more about like normal people walking up to this panel and wanting to control the lights in that room.
Yeah, so
they don't want to have a weather page. That's
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I was going to ask you is when this opens up to the public and people are making feature requests and things like that, how are you going to filter and decide on those things? Are you guys just going to decide, or are you going to go with what the community wants, or is it just going to be you're going to do your thing, and then if people want to add those things themselves, then they can just go ahead and add those things?
I don't know. It's not something we've discussed yet, but
yeah, it's
within
not something
reasonable limits,
Yeah.
If there's enough people that wants a feature, I don't see why we couldn't add it.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, to the benefit of as much people as possible,
Yeah.
let's say.
Yeah. And Alex, I left my clock off so that it wouldn't be the wrong way around. So, haha. Yeah, usually with this camera, I usually have it mirrored so that it's like things are readable when they turn on, and for like when I'm pointing. No, I said that wrong. God damn it, Alex, you messed me up. When I show things, things are back to front, but when I'm pointing and talking about things, they're the right way around. But anyway,
I can see the, oh, I don't know how to pronounce it, but there's someone in the comment section that says that a screensaver with time and weather is nice, and I can see
Yeah,
that. That
absolutely.
might be nice. Have a big fat clock on the screensaver.
Yeah.
Is that for when
that's,
it's like in its sleep state?
Yeah, exactly. But I would be worried about like burning. I don't know if that's a problem with these panels, but
Yeah.
No, me neither.
I thought.
Doesn't the default Sonoff firmware keep them on?
It looked like it.
I think it does. I think that you can turn them off, but I think the default Sonoff one is it just is dim, like it's really dim, and then it will go brighter.
Yeah.
I think definitely that there should be a user choice there. Me personally,
Yeah.
thinking about the electricity bill, just want them to
Yes. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, yeah. So we've had our 45 likes. So if you haven't already, just leave a little comment saying like, would you want the grey version or the white version? And if we do happen to get to 60, let's go for 60. If we get 60 likes, so that could be, you know, even when the stream's finished, then I'll chuck another one out too. So 2 NS panels up for grabs. If you're interested, just leave a little comment saying white panel, grey panel, something like that. But there we go. Is there anything else you guys want to add about the project? Where's best for people that are interested in the project to follow you other than the Kickstarter page? If they want updates or information on anything that's progressing, how can they stay up to date? Is it the best place is just the Kickstarter for now until the repo is public?
Yeah, I'd say the Kickstarter and Erik's YouTube channel, Cables and Coffee. And then when the GitHub repo opens up, just to subscribe to the repo and keep an eye out, basically.
Cool. Yeah. So I think that's about it, guys.
Yeah, it's been a long night.
It's
been nice.
Night.
Been fun being on.
Yeah, I'm sorry that we couldn't get the video working, and then when we did get it working, it didn't work. But hopefully, if you tuned in, you might have learned something, and you might have also got like a nice look at what the project is and what it's all about. If you do have any more questions about it or anything you want to know, then all of the links are all in the description already, so feel free to check those out. This is going to be a project that I personally use, so I'm going to be following the development process of it, and I'll probably be creating future videos on how to set everything up and when there's new features and what these guys change. And hopefully I can get you both back on again, maybe when you go for the actual release, and hopefully we can actually, have some good audio and good video.
Yeah, we'll come better prepared next time.
Yeah, I'll try and see if I can get a hold of a webcam as well.
Yeah, awesome. Right then, guys, is there anybody in the comments that we're live in the stream? Is there anybody in the stream that wants to know anything else before we go? Anybody? Clocks optional, screensaver optional.
Seems like we've answered every question.
And we made some promises there as well.
Yeah, that's always the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, a practice stream. Well, Vic, you know how these streams go. They're always janky. And I said to these guys earlier on in the day, I was like, oh, we'll do something like early afternoon, and then that came and went. And then was it like half an hour before the stream started? I messaged you guys about testing.
I think it was an hour before, like 40, 50 minutes, something like that.
Yeah, but there we go. It wasn't a total train wreck. Well, the train crashed, but it still ran.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Can the panel be
fun?
Can the panel be placed in a wet room, like a bathroom, shower, that kind of a thing?
I have it in my bathroom, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't spray water on it.
Can
but,
it and should it? Two different things.
I think probably the IP class. I think it's okay in Sweden at least, as long as you don't have it like in the shower. It depends on the rules of the country, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, no worries about coming in late. There is an overview video on both mine and Eric's channel.
Maybe we should do it all again.
Yeah, just start again. I mean, I've got like some more panels back there. We could do another one. Yeah. So the panels, they're not for sale, pre-flashed. But what you can do is you can purchase some of the Sonoff panels, the NS panel, not the NS Panel Pro. And again, there's links to those in the description. And then later on, towards the end of summer, this project will be available, and there'll be lots of tutorials, I imagine, on how to set this all up and get it going, and you'll be able to set this all up for yourself. But yeah.
Yeah.
Right then, guys. Thank you both very much for taking 3 hours out of your day to come and launch this. Good luck with
inviting us.
Good luck with the whole Kickstarter. I can see the numbers going up, so that's good. Tim, you'll be fed soon.
Very nice. Yeah. I might be able to eat. Haven't eaten in half a year.
Yeah. But yeah, I hope all goes well, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you both do and how the project progresses.
Yeah, but you said you were going to use this. Are you planning on being like a beta tester, or it's more like an alpha right now?
Yeah, so I'll be,
to keep you up to date and send you software too.
Yeah, I'll be doing all the testing. Yeah, gladly.
Very nice of you.
Yeah, so I've got a few of these panels now. So I've got two that are now done.
Yeah.
So I'll probably switch these over to my production environment and start playing with them.
Nice.
So yeah, and as it integrates more with HomeAssistant, I imagine I'll be able to do a lot more with it.
Yeah, hopefully. I know Eric's been running his this project in like the live environment for like a month, 2 months.
Yep, and my roomie likes it. He liked
the scenes functionality. Yeah.
It's a normal average user.
Yeah, so Alex is saying there's no IP rating on Sonoff's product,
Okay.
so I would not recommend having it in a wet room.
It's not exactly sealed, is it?
No, definitely not.
Mine is quite far away from the shower, so.
Yeah. So when it starts corroding all the insides, but it'll be fine. Just scrape it off. Just scrape it off.
Yeah, just some rubbing alcohol should wipe off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you flash the panel like 1,000 times, it breaks as well. Might be worth to know.
Yeah, so we need a little counter on how many times you've flashed.
Yeah, well, the version number you see, the 0.0.920, that's actually the number of times I've built it with the scripts. So it increases 1 every time I build it. So yeah, about 1,000 flashes. And then the Wi-Fi broke for some reason. I can still flash it, it still runs, but as soon as I turn on the Wi-Fi, it just reboots.
So yeah, don't do 1,000 flashes. But hopefully, when the project's all good to go, you'll only have to flash it the once.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully.
That's
and then on each release, basically. And
And then-
hopefully we can release all of this as one single Docker package. So when you download the Docker package, you get the firmware and the updated TFT files and everything ready to go.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to just push that straight from your web UI.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Awesome. Right then, guys, we are going to end that here at nearly 3 hours. I hope you, if you stuck around, like, then yeah, fair play. Thank you for sticking around. If you're just joining at the end, then there's an overview video, and just scroll back through just to see the trials and tribulations of this whole thing. It worked well, but yeah, thank you for tuning in, guys, and thank you, Eric and Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us on.
I will see you all soon. I'm going to switch over to the ending screen now, just to clarify it, so it might cut you guys off, but here we go.
That.
Yeah.
I don't know, you might still be here. Whenever I change the pages, usually it kills your audio or something, but yeah.
Yeah, it might.
There we go. Right, awesome. If you would like to see more streams or something, obviously less janky, so we're not spending 40 minutes fixing things, then let me know. I do really enjoy doing these things. It's just the preparation. Right, thank you, and good night or good morning wherever you are, and catch you in the next one. Cheers.